Hey everybody, welcome to our Star Wars Rogue One movie review. I'm one with the Force is with me. What's up, Sean?
I'm ready to get into this.
Yeah.
We saw this at different times.
Yeah, you saw this, what day?
I saw it Thursday at 7:30 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw it this morning. Today is the 18th, or the 17th now. It's so we saw it this morning at about 10 o'clock. So we're recording this later tonight. So just to put this out there, during this review we'll be discussing the movie at length. So spoilers and everything.
Spoilers will happen. If you have not seen it, do not watch this.
No. So that being said, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it and then come back here and listen to us talk about it. Or you can listen to us talk about it and get mad when you're watching the movie and go, damn it, they spoiled it for me. But hey, we warned you first. So, damn. That was not too bad of a movie as far as I go.
Dude, I love this movie.
Yeah. So let's start off with the beginning. Opening credits, there was no crawl. And at first, there's that initial reaction of, this isn't a Star Wars movie if it doesn't have that crawl. But 5 seconds into it, I'm like, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. It doesn't really need a crawl.
No. The crawl is almost one of those parts where it's a necessity for the main saga,
Mm-hmm.
the Skywalker saga, so to call it. But that's always the part of the movie where I'm like, okay, I wish I could make this go faster.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, I'll read it, but I want to get to the movie.
Yeah.
You know?
This was a movie that kind of operated almost on a frantic pace.
Yeah.
And at the very end, you understood why.
Yeah. I mean, the beginning was slower.
Yeah.
Than the rest of the movie.
But it was one of the...
It's building up to it, but there were points where I plus seeing it, in the morning. Usually I'm more of a night person, so seeing it in the morning, I was yawning here and there at the beginning, okay, let's get this moving a little bit. But
it was one of those things where it's like, we need to hurry up, start, no crawl.
Right.
Besides, this movie is the crawl for episode 4.
Right. And also with the music, there wasn't it was more original music for its own thing, which is kind of cool because it's not part of the saga. It's an in-between to kind of tell the stories behind the scenes of the actual epic space opera that's going on in the foreground.
Yeah.
So having its own music was kind of relieving at some points, but they did still have some kickbacks here and there, like when Vader shows up,
Yeah.
you hear it, but and I have to say overall, even as a Star Wars movie, it stands off on its own pretty well.
Yeah.
To begin with.
I want to see it again.
Yes.
Because my initial feeling right now
Mm-hmm.
is this might be my favorite Star Wars movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, I loved it that much. It was, I cannot say enough about it. It was probably the best cast all around in a Star Wars movie. Mainly because they didn't get all unknown actors.
Right.
Some of the people you may not have known, but they've been acting for a while.
Right. Well, I mean, like Cassian. Like, what I remember him from is from The Terminal with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
He was the guy driving the food cart.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first thing I remember seeing him in. And so, there'd be points where I'm just like, hey, he used to talk to Tom Hanks, and then he was riding the little thing, and he proposed to Lieutenant Uhura, because she worked in that movie, too.
Yeah.
But
I love this movie. I could not have enjoyed it more. It was just so good, and I knew it took place before. It takes place before episode 4.
Right.
I didn't realize it took place 10
right
minutes before episode 4.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the best things about this movie is there are certain characters that either make an appearance or they are part of the stories that we've previously seen in other Star Wars movies. But for the bulk of it, they're all characters that are brand new to the movies.
Yeah.
They might be canonical in some of the novelizations or the Rebels TV series or something like that. But to the moviegoers, these are brand new characters, so there's no preconceived notions of what they should look like, how they should act,
Yeah.
So you can't go mad. You can't get mad watching it because you're like, that's not how that character would have been. They changed it. This was almost like a Star Wars Guardians of the Galaxy.
This was a little bit more grown up than
Right.
like the other Star Wars I saw when I was like a kid, basically.
Right.
And Star Wars, it's a sci-fi film, but it's a very simplistic story. You could watch it as a little kid and understand most of what's going on.
Right.
There may be a little few things here and there that you're not ready to know about, like the relationship stuff, but you know the overarching story of this is a bad guy, this is a good guy, this is why he's bad, this is why this guy's good, and this is why they want to stop him.
Right.
And this one, the story is still simplistic, but the ramifications are much more extreme than in past Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those where you know where it's going. You know how it's going to end, but the path in getting there is the fun of the movie.
Yeah.
So
it felt like a war movie.
Yeah, I can
Like
see that, especially when they're storming the little God, what the fucking name of the planet down there? The one where at the end they're on that planet and they have to get to the satellite dish or whatever.
Yeah.
When they're storming the beach, it's like storming the beach in Normandy. They got the fucking ATSTs fucking shoot at them and shit. And,
yeah. But to me, it felt like a war movie with Star Wars backdrop, and I felt like they did that really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like a lot like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I can see that. How'd you feel about the effects? Like some of the practical effects they included in there were pretty good. Like they had some matte paintings in there, like when they're in the rebel base, the X-wings, they're cardboard cutouts.
Yeah,
matte paintings or whatever. Some of the droids and some of the alien characters were practical effects, but then you start getting into some of the CGI characters.
Yeah,
but man, I gotta say, when I first saw Tarkin on there,
Moff
Tarkin, I was like, oh god, they took archive footage and just beefed it up and made it look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, he never said those things.
Yeah.
Wait a second, he's completely CGI.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like it faked me out for a second there. Like we play video games, we see a lot of CGI characters when we play games, and a lot of them look really good, but there's still that hint of it's not. It doesn't fool you completely.
Yeah.
But man, for a couple seconds there, I really thought it was Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
And whoever they got to voice him was amazing.
Yeah. I actually thought it was a different actor.
Yeah.
They
had to stand in.
Yeah, they had to stand in that, and they kind of did like with Paul Walker.
Okay.
In Fast and Furious, they just got like somebody that looked like him, which was his brother.
Right.
But this, I thought that they just had another guy that looked like him and just kind of did a little bit of touches here and there. Mm-hmm. But I also, the theater I went to, the screen wasn't all that great, to be honest.
Yeah.
The bottom third, it had kind of like a little bit of a glow to it for some reason. I don't know if that was the exit sign or what, but it kind of threw me off in parts where it was supposed to be dark and you kind of got like a little haze on things.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I kind of got fooled really good.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
However they did it, though, it just, that's an excellent use of CGI.
Yeah.
Rather than having someone that looks like the actor that they pile a whole bunch of makeup and prosthetics on.
Yeah.
To kind of give it that look or whatever. Like they man, it's so cool that CGI is finally at that point where we're almost on the cusp of, is it CGI or is it not?
Yeah.
And later on, another character is CGI.
That one I didn't think was too well.
That one was not as well accomplished as Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is Princess Leia.
Yeah. Here's a question. When you saw it, did she have white on her face?
I honestly can't remember. It was such a quick scene.
It looked like she had white on her face, like from prequel movies.
Oh, okay. Like face paint.
Yeah, like face paint, like makeup or whatever.
I don't think I remember seeing any. Then again, it might have been the screen that you were at.
Yeah, kind of like Padme.
Right.
She had like the face paint. And that's kind of what Leia looked like when I saw it. So I don't know. I didn't know if it was maybe the screen was messed up or not, because I couldn't remember. I don't remember Leia looking like that.
No.
In episode 4.
Well, she had the white getup with the hood that she had over her head.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I don't think she had any face paint or anything like that.
Either way, I didn't think it was that well done. I didn't think the voice was that well done either.
Even though she said one word, hope.
Yeah,
You know?
it just...
Which I kind of like that it was just quick and to the point, you know, which makes more sense that Tarkin is better animated than she was, because they had to spend more time on him, because he was in several scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And whereas Princess Leia, at the very end, she's, you know, just there for like 3 seconds. Even then, like maybe a second and a half, just seeing her face.
She shares the same amount of screen time as Mark Hamill does at the end of episode 7.
Yeah, pretty much. But
yeah,
even though it was pretty well done, it didn't fool me in the least. I mean, obviously, because Carrie Fisher doesn't look like herself back then anymore.
That, and she doesn't sound like herself back then anymore.
About 3,000 packs of cigarettes later.
Yeah. And other miscellaneous stuff.
Sure, allegedly.
Admittedly, she did.
So let's cut into certain aspects of the movie. Like, to start out with, Sean, who is your favorite character?
Oh, man. There were so many good characters.
You're right.
You didn't get a lot of background on all of them, but they were all really solid.
Right.
And, man, it's probably a tie between Jen and K2, the robots.
Right. K2 was my favorite. I like, as much as there's so many good characters in there. K2 had so many good lines.
Yeah.
It delivered them so well that, I mean, and Alan Tudyk is such a great actor and voice actor that he just made that character come to life.
Yeah.
Like, it just amazingly. It like, K2 reminds me of, did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic, the second one?
A little bit.
Yeah. Do you remember the droid that you can get to join your party, but he's on the dark side? It was HK-47.
Didn't get that far,
No.
unfortunately.
He reminds me of him. He would call everyone meatbags. Almost like Evil Bender, almost.
Yeah.
So he'd call everyone meatbags and like, would you like me to kill him for you, master? Can I peel off his skin? You know, like, all this other stuff. Like, Jesus, like, what the fuck? Well, we're trying to go light side here, buddy. Maybe on the dark side playthrough, we can, you know, have him in the party. But just hilarious droid to have with you. So like, K2 reminds me of mixing that droid with C3PO.
Yeah.
So you have like the very proper, you know, nice sounding tones of him mixed with like, I'm ordered not to kill you, but I would probably just kill you. You know?
Yeah, it was
very blunt about everything he wants to do.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a robot, and you're watching a movie that's make believe, and it's a robot that has no soul or anything, but yet at the end,
so much personality.
Spoilers, you know, but when he dies, you feel sad about it.
God, yeah.
And like, even though like, and like everything he says is like really smart ass, dark comedy, you know, basically on the verge of saying, yeah, I'd kill you and stuff like that.
Right.
But his actions behind that, where he's actually saving people and being very valiant, makes you believe he actually cares.
Right.
Even though it's a robot and it has no emotions at all.
But he's got so much personality.
Yeah.
There's so many good lines that he delivers. I think my favorite thing that he says was when they're in that alleyway fighting some stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to stay with the ship, but instead he walks up, he starts helping them out. But right before he shows up, Jin turns around, you see one of the type of droid that he is. He's some sort of Imperial security droid or whatever.
Yeah.
So you see what you think is him. She shoots it. It falls over dead. And then he comes around the corner like, did you think that was me? And then she doesn't answer him. But just that delivery was like, that's pretty fucking amazing. That's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Which actually leads into the next point of best lines. So like, so many good delivery scenes in there. So many good one-liners. God, so many. Well, like, what do you think, just off the top of your head, jumps out as your favorite?
Man, I can't think of a favorite line, to be honest. There's a lot of good ones, and there's some good speeches, and to me there wasn't a line that really stood out. It was more the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I know a line that I hated that comes off to my head really quick, but I'll let you talk about what your favorite line in the movie.
Okay. Absolute favorite was Donnie Yen's character. What was it? Do you have his name?
Drew?
Drew, yeah. He's the blind character that has the bow staff.
Yeah.
And so it was the part where he just fought off the stormtroopers, and Jin and Cassian are right there talking to him, and then Saw's resistance fighters capture them to take him over to Saw's base, and they start putting bags on everyone's head, and they get to Donnie Yen, and his character's blind.
Yeah.
So they start putting the bag over his head, and he goes, "Are you kidding me? I'm blind."
Yeah.
That just cuts away from there.
That was a good moment.
Fucking love that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny moments in this movie, but still, I to me it was just the overall storytelling was just so stolid.
Right.
Or solid. Not stolid.
Stolid.
That's not a word.
It's a level above solid.
Yes.
It's strength and it's solid.
Yes.
Stolid.
Like, I mean, there were lines like, his whole mantra, "I'm the force is with me,"
Yeah.
That's a great line, but to me it's not like up there with like "May the force be with you" when you first hear it.
Well, when he was repeating it over and over so quickly, it kind of almost when you say a word over and over and over, it loses all meaning.
Yeah.
So when he was sitting there just saying it over and over, I'm like, okay, it's getting more and more cheesy now.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It was cool at first when they say it by itself without repeating it, but once they start repeating it, it's like, okay, not so much.
When you find out that, what you find out through this movie, that they kind of treat like Jedi and all that as like a religion, and they don't really follow it or believe in it for the most part.
He's definitely force sensitive.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they had already said he's not a Jedi, which I thought would have been kind of cool if he had been one of the ones that he was a Padawan or something like that.
Yeah.
At some point was blinded or whatever. But no, his character was born blind.
Yeah.
So he's always been blind.
Yeah.
Which is even cooler because through the Force he was able to gain a sense of seeing on his own.
Yeah.
Which he accomplishes through this movie so well when he takes that cannon rifle thing and shoots that TIE fighter out of the sky.
Yeah.
Fucking cool.
Very cool. But it's like even his best friend who hangs out with him all the time. Best friend, boyfriend, I don't know.
Yeah, not to judge, but
don't judge, don't care.
Most effective couple
Good for
ever.
them. But even the machine gun guy.
Yeah.
He kind of saw him as like a religious nut in a way.
Like, that friend that likes something that you make fun of him for.
Yeah.
Like, really, you still believe in that,
Yeah.
And he still follows him through to the end, though.
Yeah.
As friendships should go.
But even towards the end of the movie, they say, "May the force be with you," but you kind of find out that it's more like, remember the Alamo.
Yeah.
It's not like a code they live by. It's just something they say just to get people going, ready to go.
Right. Amp them up, get them ready.
Yeah, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now the line that I hated. Can you guess what it was?
No.
It came from Darth Vader.
Is that the choking?
Yeah,
joke
careful not to choke on your ambitions. They turned him into a Bond villain with that, and I did not like that. I hated it. I groaned. Darth Vader is above jokes like that.
You might as well have him like doing a forced choke on his tongue, telling him like, "What's the matter, Sith? Got your tongue?"
Yeah.
Don't
force me to go further with. It's like that stuff is, to me, is just below Star Wars.
Yeah, that scene in particular with him and director
Critic.
Where Critic is standing there, and I guess it was at Darth Vader's castle, like his actual home residence that he has.
Yeah.
Not,
The place surrounding his bath.
right, there we go. which is a cool little insight as to. I mean, you kind of wonder about the daily insights into Vader's day-to-day life. How does he clip his toe? Well, he doesn't have toenails.
Yeah, he doesn't.
They're
clipped.
I mean, just like basic things, like how would he accomplish that? Does he just smell like sweaty bacon wrapped in rubber all the time?
He just sits in a hot tub all day.
Yeah,
Till somebody wants to talk to him, then he has to get dressed.
pretty much.
It's like a sad, pathetic life.
Just that look on his face as Vader's approaching him in that scene. As he starts realizing oh, he's tall, oh, he's kind of menacing, oh, I think he wants to kill me. You just see the panic start to just behind his eyes as he's trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
To show that oh, you don't scare me.
Yeah.
But you can tell he was pretty scared.
Yeah, he was really intimidated by Vader, and
then that scene or that little part with him making the little quip. Just ruined it.
Yeah,
just ruined that scene.
Hated that line. If he just choked him and left it at that, I would have been fine.
Or he just says something, do not fail me again, or something menacing.
Yeah,
cool. But
he never does the puns.
No.
In any other movie.
No. That was probably only one of the few low points of that movie. It was just comedic Vader. Just not a fan of comedic Vader.
Yeah. What do you think of opposite of Vader? What's his name? Saul.
Interesting character.
He was basically the opposite of Vader.
Yeah.
He was good guy Vader.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because he was half machine, half man.
Yeah, he even had an oxygen mask because he had asthma or whatever.
Right. As soon as he pulled it up and started using it, I'm like, Vader.
Yeah.
What? He just no mask, no burn scars or anything like that. But
yeah.
Interesting character. I when you see him in the trailer, you're wondering, who he is and everything like that. I understand that he's from the Star Wars Rebels. He had some stories in there about him. I haven't watched that series yet, so I don't know any backstory on it. But just off of the movies, not too bad of a character. I've always liked Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah,
he's a really awesome actor,
mm-hmm.
and to hear that he was going to be in Star Wars, I'm like, oh, cool. He's going to bring something to the table. It's going to be pretty neat. And sure enough, his character was interesting. I want to find out more about Saw. I want to, now I have more of a reason to want to go back and get the Rebels seasons and watch it and find out more about his character.
Yeah, it was interesting how he wasn't in the movie for that much.
Yeah,
he had a few scenes here and there, but I thought. The vibe I got from the trailers and some of the press release stuff that we've seen, in magazines and whatnot, that he was almost kind of the leader of this whole group, and he really had nothing to do with it.
He's kind of like the Professor X to the X-Men.
Yeah, and he kind of didn't really have anything to do with it.
No. He was more, I got my own shit going on, but, I'm going to drive the plot forward by doing X, Y, and Z.
He's like Obi-Wan if Obi-Wan didn't want to leave his house.
Yeah, pretty much. Luke, you're going to need to go here.
I'm comfy.
Here's your father's lightsaber. Best of luck to you. Now get the fuck out.
Yeah. I was he wasn't rude or anything. He just it's I just have a chest and a face left.
Yeah. I'm a torso with a head.
Yeah. I don't have much left to give. Let's be honest here. But it was just interesting because I thought he had a much bigger role to play. But
right.
There's a lot of things from the trailers that were not in the movie, surprisingly.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that had to do with the reshoots that they were talking about.
But it's interesting. Usually, the things they show in the trailer are unfortunately show way too much. Mm-hmm. And it's almost always the best parts of the movie is what you see in the trailer.
Right. I'm okay with trailers that use scenes that aren't in the movie as long as it's not super cool parts or a reveal of something, and then you go into the movie and it's completely something different.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the stuff they were showing in the trailers wasn't anything that altered the story or the plot or characters at all.
But the two biggest parts from the trailers, which were rebels, let's rebel, whatever that line was.
I'm a rebel.
Yeah.
I rebel.
That line was not in the movie.
Right. I'm glad.
Yeah. The part where she's in her black suit and she's got the helmet there, and then all of a sudden the TIE fighter shows up behind her.
Yeah, I was waiting for that part.
Yeah, I was waiting for that part. Because throughout this movie, I was halfway expecting her to like become just like a mole.
To join the Empire?
Yeah, to join the Empire.
Yeah.
Because they showed that part in that scene in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And then it never happened in the movie, which was really interesting. I thought. It was really cool because they showed us a bunch of things that were awesome that made us want to see this movie. Mm. And then they weren't in the movie, but you didn't care.
Yeah, you didn't care at all because you're like, I have Star Wars now. Yeah. I now have my fix. Inject it into the vein and please depress the plunger.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, there's also some cool things. Also cool things. It's all cool things.
Yeah.
Some Episode 4, not talking about how it connects to Episode 4, but just like little nods within it. Mm-hmm. Like the blue milk in the beginning.
Yeah.
When you see Jin as a little girl, and they're escaping their own house because, the director is after her father. But like, as she passes the dinner table, there's just a thing of blue milk sitting there.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, that was good. And like,
it's a staple in common Star Wars households.
There was a bunch of nods to Episode 4, and this movie gave a lot of context to all the movies that came out, all the episodes that came 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
Gave context to a lot of things that you really didn't know about it because it happened before Episode 4, which was really cool. And you saw some characters that were in Episode 4, which was really neat. There's the guy that got his arm cut off.
Oh, right. That was Evazan and Ponda Baba.
Yeah.
Evazan is the one that talks. And gets his arm. No, and then Ponda Baba is the one that has like the walrus tusks in front, and he's the one that gets his arm.
I'll be
cut
careful.
Off.
You'll be dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's ironic to think though.
I have the death sentence on 12 systems.
Yeah. But almost, if you think about it, they kind of they're practically at that bar grabbing a beer. It's like, man, we were just at that city that blew up. Can you believe that? We're lucky to be alive. Who's this asshole? Oh, my arm's gone.
Yep. Just a string of bad luck for those two.
Yeah. It was cool seeing them. Then you saw like C-3PO and R2-D2.
Right.
Which, when I saw it at first, when you see the movie, it felt like a throw-in that I didn't need.
Oh, C-3PO and R2-D2?
Yeah, I didn't really need it. It felt like overdone at that point because there's quite a few characters that you saw in other movies.
Right.
There's like Mon Mothma's in this.
Right. I do fucking Jimmy Smits.
Yeah, I love that he was in this.
Jimmy Smits.
Yeah.
Like, I saw him, I'm like, yes!
Like, it's not your fault, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I do have to say, like, I'm not a big mushy person when it comes to like movies like going to see Titanic and crying your eyes out or whatever. Like that. There's certain moments though in especially Star Wars where like I can't help but get teared up at certain parts. Like the first time we saw the Force Awakens trailer and Han and Chewie are right there. Says Chewie, we're home. Dude, I fucking bawled my eyes out.
Yeah.
I just could not contain it. Like, and I watched it 12 times in a row and went through a box of tissues, just eyeballs just getting dehydrated, leaking out so much tears.
Yeah.
But like, there were certain parts that just got that like catch in my throat, and like little single tear going down my cheek was. I do have to say, seeing R2-D2 and C-3PO got me choked up a little bit because I was like, it gave you a little glimpse into. We're almost there. The story's almost over. Yeah, you're about to be launched into Episode 4, A New Hope. So like, there's that part, and then there's the part with. Well, I'll get to it later, but my favorite part of the movie. When we got to my favorite part of the movie, I was in tears, like not sobbing tears, but like just had a single tear going down my cheek because it was so awesome, and just that little kid in me that saw Star Wars for the first time, way back when, was just jumping up and down in his seat, screaming at the top of his lungs inside me. Like I couldn't contain myself.
Yeah, but you also notice that when Luke Skywalker comes in, he joins Red Team, and his call sign, I can't remember what it was. I think it was 4?
Red 4, I believe.
Red 4. Yeah. During the fighting sequence, there is a Red 4 there, and he crashes. Yeah. Which opens up a spot for Luke Skywalker to take. I thought that was really cool, because it's just a tiny little thing that you didn't not really paying attention to. Right. And it was like, you're thinking about it after, like, oh shit.
I do have to say one little sidestep, one little piece of trivia. When I was previously in the Air Force, and when I was deployed to Iraq, my call sign on the radio was Echo 3. Now, Luke's call sign in Empire was Echo 3.
Yeah.
So there was an Echo 7 with me, and he was a couple ranks above me. But just over the radio, like it was day one, we get our radios, we head out, we're learning our posts, learning the dangerous areas of the base and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I just get on the radio and I call him up and I say, Echo 3 to Echo 7, Han, can you hear me, old buddy? And he replied over, and I was like, yes, that's so great. That's awesome.
Nice.
But that part, Echo 3, I don't know how I got, it was just randomly assigned to us, but I thought that was pretty cool. So a little trivia fact. Yeah. One of the coolest things about this movie as well was, as a lot of people had thought they would have done before anyways, but I'm glad they confirmed it and actually went through with it, was the exhaust port of the Death Star was intentional.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, because it was almost a plot hole in the movies where it's like, why would they build it like this to where this... it's small, but you could easily get to it.
Yeah.
Why would they build it like that? That seems like shoddy workmanship.
Yeah.
And it turns out that there was a reason. It was Jin's dad who was forced to build this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Reluctantly did it for the sole reason because he knew that he could build it with a way to defeat it.
Although,
that no one else would have.
You figured if I was put into his position, I'd do the same exact thing, except I would add so many other things that would just bug the shit out of everyone and completely decrease morale.
Yeah.
So, like, on all the toilets on levels 5 through 7 would just randomly flush and backflow from all the other levels. Every time the lights on levels 17 through 36 would just flicker randomly every hour on the hour, and would drive some people insane.
Yeah.
There's no natural sunlight, you just have lights. Certain things like that a contractor would put in to just fuck people over with.
Yeah.
And cross wires and stuff like that.
Now, what did you think about how the material that it used to destroy the planets is the same material that makes lightsabers?
That's pretty cool. That's actually always been a part of it, was the kyber crystals.
Okay.
But actually showing the aftermath of when they just completely strip mine certain places.
Yeah.
Like Jedi Holy Lands, where an apprentice would go with their master to go pick out their own crystal and then have to construct their own lightsaber to complete parts of their training.
Yeah.
It was just completely strip mined and just raped of kyber crystals and then carted off to the Death Star to be used.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just so cool. And not only that, but they talked about the economy affected by the Empire coming in and just taking everything. Was just... There's so many good points in this movie where they weren't just, okay, we need to get from A to B. It's like, no, we need to show how this impacts so many other characters. Even if we just do it briefly, at least deliver a line that shows, like, yeah, this really fucked up our economy. Like, I used to have a job, now the Empire came and took it away. All the things you think about, behind the scenes in a Star Wars movie, like where there are actually independent contractors on the second Death Star that got blown up. We'll never know. Yeah. Unless they release something that shows, whatever. Yeah. But that was a pretty good addition to showing how they built the Death Star and what things are actually used. Because, like, the kyber crystals were always part of the expanded universe, never really foretold in the actual movies themselves. Yeah.
But if you didn't read the books or anything like that, you didn't know about that.
Right.
It was just really neat finding out that, like, the Death Star is just a giant fucking lightsaber.
They turned the best defense into a horrific offense.
And then they turn it down, the volume down to 4. They set it off, and it's just a nuke.
Yep.
That just destroys everything.
Very slowly. So, actually, it just you have enough time to see it at the top of a building, and then walk 50 flights down, go out to the beach, and sit down on the beach and have a couple words before it actually hits you. Yeah.
Oh, man. It was really neat just seeing the devastation it had on such a minor scale for it, and it was still just completely devastating.
Definitely. Death Troopers. What'd you think of the Death Troopers, the all-black stormtroopers?
I thought it was cool,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, these are stormtroopers that can aim.
Yeah, pretty much.
They didn't really have a whole lot to do with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were just in it for really a few scenes.
Their masks were a little weird.
I didn't get thrown off by the look or anything like that. It just
what threw me off was the sound of their radio chatter.
Mm.
They sound like the guards from THX.
It was just they had so little to do with the movie that it really had no effect on me. Really,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. It was like the midget Bigfoot guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like he shows up and it's like, okay, he's pretty cool, but like he has no effect on me.
Right.
I don't know his name. I just call him Little Bigfoot Guy.
If I remember correctly, Warwick Davis played him in this movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought the Death Trooper holding the Stormtrooper doll when they were at the Urso.
That was
farm,
really
it was pretty
neat.
cool. It was a nice little shot, which
Yeah.
made me think of Rey in The Force Awakens,
Yeah.
having the X-wing pilot doll.
Yeah.
And, like, makes you wonder, like, did they ever put out a series of these in this universe?
Yeah.
Where, like, girls bought the dolls,
Yeah.
or boys bought the dolls, or whatever.
But it makes you understand that, like, at this point in time, they're just kind of like recruiting actual people
Right.
to them.
Lots of propaganda.
Lots of propaganda, and there's a lot of people that probably works for them or families that work there that don't understand that they're the bad guys.
Right.
Which
They
is
only
really
see
neat.
the good turnout that
Yeah.
comes their way.
Whereas with episode 7, they're just kidnapping people and making them work. They got slaves, basically.
Basically, yeah.
And they're just making people work for them.
Yeah.
They have no names or nothing.
No.
So it's kind of neat to see the actual propaganda of it. Like, oh, here's these little toys and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool.
I think we're at the part where we can talk about favorite scene of the movie. Now, do you have a favorite part of the movie that you saw that, like, if you're to make a highlight reel of this movie, that would be the majority of that?
It would just be like the last 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Where they're going in, and then that's when it turns into Saving Private Ryan with Star Wars backdrops. And
Everyone just starts dying.
yeah, I came into this movie. I only watched the first trailer. I stayed away from everything. I saw a few rumors here and there on the internet because if you just go on Facebook, you're going to see something.
Right.
But I went into it thinking, well, they're all going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And the more as it led up to that final scenes, that final 20 minutes, however long it was, I was like, they're going to keep some of them around. They're too good of a characters. They could have a spin-off of just a robot. I would watch it.
Yeah.
I could see, like, well, they still haven't shown that movie where they have, like, the TIE fighter right behind her. It's like, maybe she's going to go be, like, a undercover spy for them. That's how they get the security code in episode 6.
Right.
And so I was thinking she was going to survive. Or I was thinking her and him are going to survive, and they're going to get, like, these are too good of characters for just one movie.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they're just one by one start going down. I was like, the pilot, he's like going through all this stuff just to connect these two cables.
Finally gets it up and running.
And then
gives them the message. They open up the thing. His job is done.
the grenade comes in, and you just see this guy's sigh is just like, really? Just, and then boom, he's dead.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact order they went in right now. The robots.
They gave them all ample amount of time for each thing. It wasn't like a quick one-off, like you just saw a rocket hit their general area and then suddenly they were just gone. It's like, no, they spent each time with each character in their death moment.
Yeah. So I was like, I knew coming into this movie, or I kind of had a feeling that everybody was going to die. And then as it's leading up to it, I'm wondering how each one of these characters are going to survive because they're so good.
Right.
And you cared for all of them, and no, none of them lived. And I was like, wow, that was fucking... Even, like, blue alien guy.
Blue alien guy.
Oh, there's a trap.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, the Admiral Akbar knockoff.
Yeah, he's
guy.
not. Yeah. He's Blue Admiral Akbar. he crashes his ship into a Star Destroyer to hit another Star Destroyer.
That was fucking badass.
To take out a shield. And it's like, even then, he's kind of like on his last legs, and it's like, and just all this death scenes, like, it was so important because even though you didn't really know a lot about the characters, they were all really good characters. They were important to the story. You cared about all these characters. And yet somehow they were all dying, which you don't see in Star Wars movies.
Right.
You see one or two here or there. But for the most part, everybody survives.
Right. Every character dies.
And then everybody's dying. And then the other part that really got me with it was like, no, we'll leave the Death Star to them. Darth Vader will take care of the rest. I was expecting just Darth Vader flying around. Really cool, like shooting people down. That was it. I did not expect him showing to board their ship.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Because they finally upload the plans. Then they have to download it onto like a hard drive or whatever.
See, this is my favorite part.
Yeah, and then I'm watching. I was like, huh. They're wearing the same uniforms that they do in episode 4. Yep. That's interesting.
Because this is the part where I started getting emotional. Like, I started getting a couple tears.
Yeah.
Because it caught up with me. Well, we just went through all these deaths, especially K2.
Yeah.
His death. Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
He knew it. And he delivered it so well, and he's like, fuck it, you guys need to get out of here. Crushes that thing, they get locked in.
He didn't just die, he gave his life protecting these other people to complete a mission that really did not affect him at all.
Right. It just, man, he went out like such a champ.
Yeah.
Like, like, you're like, oh, man. Anyways, getting to that part with, you get past these deaths, and all of a sudden, you realize, like, suddenly they have the plans. Oh, crap, they completed it, but the Empire's right there.
Yeah. Going back just a tiny bit real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Okay. When they're sitting on the beach and the explosion finally catches up to them and they're dying, I was like, holy shit. I'm halfway expecting credits.
Mm-hmm.
But even before that, I'm halfway expecting, like, this movie is dedicated to people. Like, this is an actual mission, and, like, these people were real, and they died. I was halfway expecting that. I was like, oh, yeah, it's a Star Wars movie. Then, like, more stuff happened. I was like, holy shit. And then you got emotional. I was getting aroused. You know, it's like,
well,
it's like, oh.
Emotional aroused.
Yeah.
Emoused. But.
Things were happening, and I was excited.
Yeah. Suddenly it was one of those moments where you feel like you're... Like if you're playing football and you suddenly have the ball, but you don't realize it yet.
Yeah.
It just suddenly gets thrown to you and you catch it and you're like, hey, I caught it.
You score.
Oh, I got to go to the end zone.
Yeah.
Shit. So you have to dodge through everybody to get there. And there's one rebel trooper. He's doing that exact thing.
Yeah.
With Darth Vader on his heels.
Yeah.
And just as Vader crashes through that door and he starts... like cutting motherfuckers in half with his lightsaber.
And just
he lifts that guy up into the ceiling, just crushes him into that.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like just
no effort at all either.
No, he's just rampaging through that thing, and that guy keeps looking behind himself, like oh shit, almost like
open it up.
Yeah, you gotta get me out of here.
And then he realizes he's not escaping.
Mm-hmm. He's Indiana Jones. Vader is the boulder.
Yeah,
and he's trying to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and it's just take the plans.
Yeah, take it as he has his hand through the gap in the door.
And then the lightsaber goes through him and through the door, and Darth Vader opens the door with the guy with the lightsaber.
Yes.
And the guy is just booking it down the hallway, and you're like, oh, it's really light in here. This is looking like a thing. And then he gets on the spaceship, and it finally takes off, and you're like, holy fuck. I knew it was before episode 4, but I did not realize it was like 15 minutes.
Up into the moment of, because right after they get out of warp, they're going to be over Tatooine.
Yeah.
And that's where episode 4 kicks off.
And
that's one of the best parts of that movie that I absolutely loved. It's like, okay, we're learning about all these new characters. Okay, we just saw all those characters die, you know.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Episode 4 is about to happen. Like within seconds.
Yeah, it made it feel like it was an actual, like, undercover mission. Because of what you hear about missions in the military, things happen really quickly.
Right.
It does not happen over a span of months.
Several months of preparation and training for maybe 5 minutes of operation.
Yeah, but they literally they steal the plans. They all die. They get the plans out of there. And then a day later, Death Star is destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Within like a day, you go from the Rebel being a completely fractured unit.
Right.
Just nobody. Their plan at the moment is to give up,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't for this group who went in on a suicide mission, they would not have these plans. But a day before, they were ready to give up, and then the Death Stars exploded, and it's a huge victory.
Right. I would have to say, movie is excellent. The ending is probably the best ending to any Star Wars movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's the absolute best ending ever.
Yeah.
That, I mean, god damn, it's like, it's so indescribable where you just see Vader coming at you, and so many things went through my head. The Indiana Jones thing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that Rebel Trooper was also the Jeep in Jurassic Park, and Vader is the T-Rex chasing after it.
Mm-hmm.
God, it was so great, and it, like, I do love certain movies more than this one, especially since I've only seen this one once so far.
Yeah.
I definitely have plans of watching this over and over
Yeah,
again.
I want to see it again. Knowing what I know, if that takes away from the experience, I personally don't think it will, though.
No. I mean, even like with The Force Awakens, the first time you see it, you walk out and like, what did I just watch? How many details did I miss?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many layers to it that you have to watch for the little nods in the background, plus the little plot twist. You know, like, certain things are brought up in multiple viewings that you're like, oh, I didn't see that before.
Yeah.
I just saw this now. That makes more sense for what happens later. So I'm wondering how many things that we missed just seeing this once so far.
Yeah.
But even based off of that, God, yeah, best ending ever.
Yeah. It gives so much context to all these different things. It's like it even gives context to the title, A New Hope.
Right.
You watch A New Hope and you're thinking the title is just about Luke Skywalker, basically. You find out that it's just about the plans that they actually got. They finally won something.
Because the rebellion is built on hope.
Yes. Yeah, I love this movie. I can't wait to see it again. I'm a little bit different. I know that episode 5 is better than episode 4. But my favorite is still episode 4. It was the first one I saw.
Right.
Got me into the Star Wars movies. You know, it's my favorite one. Then episode 7 came out. And I know it's just a ripoff of episode 4. But I still love it.
They continued it in such a way.
Yeah.
Made it so appealing.
Yeah.
It pushes all the right pleasure centers of your brain as you're watching it, and not only that, but like they acted the fuck out of it. It was so great. But
yeah, this one right now, it's a tie it's like a 3-way tie between what my favorite one is, between episode 4, episode 7, and now Rogue One. I love this movie. It's my favorite movie this year. It beats out Civil War for me. I love Civil War, but this, oh man.
Yeah.
I came out out of episode 7 feeling like a little kid again. It's like finally I got the Star Wars that I loved back.
Right.
And then this one, I got a Star Wars that I didn't know I wanted.
Right.
And I came out of it like an adult who just cried.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see how episode 8's going to make me cry. I don't know. And that actually comes out December 15th. So far that's the release date. So December 15th of 2017 is the new date we'll be looking forward to for another Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm fine with it being still a year away because I want to chew on this movie a bit more.
Oh, definitely. You want to wait until Rogue One comes out on Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah.
Watch it a couple more times, and then
I want to be able to watch Rogue One and Episode 4 back to back.
Right. I think the new this is going to get so hard to create a flowchart on after they release so many more movies they got planned. So 2018 they have the Han Solo film coming out and other stuff too, but I'd say as of right now the order to watch them in should be Rogue One, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 6, 7.
Yeah, I guess if you have to watch the prequels over again.
If you have to watch the prequels, might as well treat it like a flashback. You'll find out that Luke, his father is Darth Vader. then you find out about how Darth Vader came to be, and then you get right back into it with 6 and 7. It's like, okay, let's wash the bad taste out of our mouth. Let's get on to something a little bit more appetizing.
Yeah. Me personally, you don't need the prequels.
You don't need them, no. But if you had to watch all 8 of these together, that's probably the most tolerable.
If you're sitting around and like, man, I'd like 10 hours of something that doesn't matter to get my head off of things.
Right.
Go ahead and watch the prequels. Otherwise, I personally don't think you need to see them.
No. So for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, if you were to give this a rating, what would you say it'd be?
Oh, man. I would give it 9 TIE Fighters out of 10.
Yeah?
Yes.
I was going to say 4 Jimmy Smits out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah. This is definitely a good movie. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're really going to love it. Yeah. It's so great. I definitely want to try and go see it while it's still in theaters again.
I'd love to go see this in 4D. One of those 4D theaters where like the seats shake and all that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd love to go see this at the Alamo.
Yeah, have a beer while watching it.
Yeah, the Alamo Draft House, a nice little pizza, a beer milkshake.
There you go.
That'd be the way to do it for the second time around.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much our take on Rogue One, a Star Wars story. You should let us know what you think about it. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree? Just let us know in the comments. Type down there. We're active all there all the time. We'll get back to you and let you know what we think of what you think what we think. So, may the Force be with you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.